So today was interesting. I had a situation where a buyer during the auction, who actually ended up, buying the property, said, "But please, you must understand, Mr. Auctioneer, interest rates are going up. The price is too high," or something to that effect. And I looked at him. He actually bought it. And I said, "Sir, I want to let you know, interest rates have gone up and might be going up. But you're getting married to the house. You're only dating interest rates." And there was just silence. I saw that somewhere on social media in the last 24 hours. I don't know who I'm going to attribute the source to, but it's a very, very true sentence. Let me say that again. You're marrying the house, but you're only just dating interest rates, which basically means that the dating is temporary. The house is permanent. So don't get too caught up worrying about what rate it is now, because over the life of the loan, rates are going to go up and they're going to go down, and there'll be times when they'll stay stable. But team, more importantly, let me run through these results. I've got one more auction to go. Hi, Wendy, and God bless you too, Wendy. I've got one more auction to go, and at the moment, as we stand, we're at 7 auctions out of 10. So that's not bad. That's 70%. Now, this last auction might take the 70% higher or might make the 70% lower. So, and Frank says, yep, interest rates will fluctuate for the next 30 years on their mortgage. And I think it's really important that people understand that don't make permanent decisions on temporary scenarios. And it just doesn't mean in this market. I mean, often when the market's booming, people are jumping in because they're making an emotional decision at that moment, but they're not understanding that they're going to be owning that asset most likely for a decade, maybe even more. So, team, what are some of the things that I've noticed today? If you're a real estate agent and you've sent at least 4 or 5 reports, written reports to your vendor, and you've had lots of meetings with the vendor during the 4-week campaign, and you've had a lot of contact, probably daily contact, the last 7 days, you're in with a really good chance of getting a property sold in this market, right? You're in with a very good chance of getting a property sold. However, if you're going in, you're highballing a property, which most agents do, They go in there worried that if they don't give too much hope, they're not going to get the listing. And then what happens is you don't really have those crucial, fierce conversations that need to be had. I've got to say to you, you're going to struggle, because vendors, and I hear them say it all the time, "But you said we'd get this price." And it's obviously when a vendor says that, the agent hasn't actually addressed price during those 4 weeks. There's no such thing as a bad market, by the way. There's no such thing as a bad market. It's either good for the buyer or it's good for the seller, and the market's the market. And there's no such thing as bad media. It's either good for the buyer or it's good for the seller. So, as far as I'm concerned right now, team, it's really clear. If I had to actually summarize where the market's at, it's property situational. There are certain properties that have got great interest, and they're the ones that the media is writing about this afternoon and tomorrow. They're talking about those. 200 over reserve. But what they're not talking about is the ones that got 200 under reserve, right? They're not talking about those properties. So the media seems to enjoy good stories in real estate on the weekend and then go bad stories during the week. And I think it's because you only get the good stories being fed by the real estate agents to the media. Because I find that when the data companies like CoreLogic, RP Data are ringing around, often if the results aren't good, there's a higher tendency that the agent won't respond to those calls. Communication rule number 1, says David Emery from Billa Property. Every vendor, every day. Oh, I like that. Every vendor, every day. I'm going to plagiarize that. Every vendor, every day. I mean, how hard is it, by the way? How hard is it to talk to every vendor every day? So you got 10 vendors. You get on the phone, right? You're probably talking to 10 mates a day anyway, right? How hard is it? You know, quick 2, 3, 4 minute conversation. Oh, by the way, well, let's assume each conversation lasted 3 minutes. Because if you're talking to them daily, you're not going to talk to them for 30 minutes, right? 10 vendors, 3 minutes a day, that's half an hour a day. If you can't invest half an hour a day in vendor management, you can just follow Steinwait's 31-minute book. 31 minute into vendor management, right? Anyway, team, let's have a look here. Is there cars pulling up? I want to see if we get a bit of a crowd. Tom, are you still confident the bottom is behind us? No pun intended. Yes, I am. Frank, I do believe that in Sydney and Melbourne metropolitan areas, the bottom is behind us. Yes, I do. And I can tell you the prices are better now than what they were last year. I'll say that again. The prices are better now than they were last year. Typically what had happened, let's look at Alexandria today. Had a property that sold for $1,330,000. That property during 2021, during the COVID, short supply of stock during the boom, would have got 1.5. Last year, when things had got really bad, that property would have got 1,150. Today, it got 1,330,000. So what's happened is the market has dropped. It's then gone up, but it hasn't gone back to where it was for most properties. Good on you. Mel says door knocked today in 30 degrees and landed on appraisal for Monday. Love it. Love it. The obstacle is the way. In the heat, the obstacle is the way. Anyway, team, it is 5:30. I've got to start my auction. I'm going.